Hi students. This week's assignment will be on margins, orientation, how to insert date and time, how to view your ruler, and how to set indents. I'm going to use this document here as a demonstration, and I'm going to start with the ribbon and where you can find your margins, the command. What you want to do is you want to click Page Layout. Under the page setup group, you're going to see the margins command, and notice that when I point at a command, it gives you a screen tip, gives you a short description of what that command is. For the margins, if I click the drop down arrow, you're going to see all the different types of margins that we can use. Now the margins are the distance between the edge of the paper and the print. So here you can see this is where the margin is set. Here's the edge of the paper, and here's the print. And the default margins for Word 2013 is set at normal, which is top, bottom, left, and right at 1 inch. On the gallery of options, there are preset, which are the default margins that are called normal. If you want to fit more information on a page, you might select narrow margins, and you can see here is the narrow margins. Or if you have a limited amount of information, you might select wide margins. So here's the wide margins, and notice the difference on the inches. If you prefer a traditional style, you could select Office 2003, and that gives you the top and bottom at 1 inch, left and right at 1.25 inches. You can also set a custom style, which is a custom margin. So I'm going to click on that. And you can use that to format, say for example, reports. If you need to change the left margin, you can change that. So if I wanted to change the left margin to a different size, right now it's set at 1 inch, I can just use the top arrow, and I can change it to 1.5, or I can change it to 0.5. or anything that I want to set it on, and then I click OK, and the margins get set on that setting. So I'm going to click Cancel because I want to leave it on the default of Word 2013, which is normal, 1 inch from the top margin, 1 inch from the bottom margin, 1 inch from the left, and 1 inch from the right side of the document. So this is where you go to set your margins. Remember, the page layout, page setup group, and you click margin. The next command I'm going to show you is the orientation of the page. So we're still on the page layout tab, page setup group. We're going to go to orientation, and we have, if I click the arrow, we have portrait and landscape. Right now we have it set on portrait, which is a size of a standard paper of 8.5 by 11. And the page orientation provides another way of positioning information on a page. So you have two options available, which is the portrait and then the landscape. This one positions text so that the top edge of the paper is 1 inch wide, and this position is often used to accommodate wide tables or graphics. So if I click the landscape, notice how my page is going to change. And notice that the width of the page is size 11 now. So if I go back to portrait, it changes to 8.5 by 11. Okay, so you can use these two options, portrait or landscape, for your page. The next command I'm going to introduce is how to insert the date and time. So I'm going to click the Home tab just to take me back to the ribbon. I'm going to click the Insert tab. I'm going to go to the Text group, and I'm going to click the Date and Time command. Notice when I click the Date and Time, I get the Date and Time dialog box that opens, and these are all the different formats that we have that we can use to set our date and time. So one of the most frequently used commands on the Insert tab is the Date and Time command. Most business documents are dated, so a variety of formats for the date and time exists here. Many businesses use the month, day, and year format for letters and the numerical format, which is 03/31/15 for memos and documents with statistics. So with business letters, we want to use this format here, where the month is spelled out, we have the date and the year. Okay, so to insert that date and time, I can go to Tuesday, March 31st, 2015, or I can do March 31st, 2015. So we're not going to insert the time on this one. I'm just going to use the March 31st or 31, 2015. So I'm going to select that one. I'm going to click OK. And notice that the date gets inserted here on the bottom because that's where I have my cursor blinking. So I don't want the date here. So I'm going to select that, hit delete. I'm going to come up to the top here, press return, and go up here. And notice that I'm on the center here in the document. So I'm going to click the align left to bring the alignment back to the left. I'm going to click insert, date and time. I'm going to click on March 31, 2015, click OK, and here's my date. It gets inserted into my document. So that's how you can insert your date to a document. The next command that I'm going to introduce is the ruler. So I'm going to go back to the Home tab, and the ruler normally shows on the top of the screen, or the document, which is a horizontal ruler, and it shows on the left side of the screen, which is the vertical ruler. Right now you can't see the ruler, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to View, I'm going to go to the Show group, and notice the ruler here, there's a little box to the left of the ruler. I'm going to click there. So when you see that little check mark, now you can see your ruler here. This is the horizontal ruler, and this is your vertical ruler. So the ruler can be displayed regardless of which ribbon tab you're using. So you can go to Home, Insert, Page, Page Layout, and you're always going to see the ruler here if it's clicked to display. So no matter what tab you click, you're going to see the ruler here. So I'm going to go back to Home. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the ruler. So the line of writing, which means the white area of the document, is also the same as the white area of the ruler. So this is indicating that in this white area, I'm able to type in the document. The indent markers, which are these little markers here, the markers at each end of the line of writing will indicate, like this is the beginning of the left margin, and this is the end of the left margin. So when I'm typing and I get to the end of the margin, it will automatically wrap down to the next line where I can start typing until I get to the end of the right margin. Then I'll continue typing to the next line. The tab alignment marker, which is to the left of your screen here, you can see a little box and it has a small L. That's indicating that that's the left margin. If I click on it, now it's going to show me the center tab. If I click on it again, now it's going to show me the right tab. If I click on it again, now it's going to show me a decimal tab. So these are all different tabs that I can use to set them here on my ruler. So let's say, for example, I'm going to set it on the left tab. So if I point at it, it's going to say left tab. And I want to move this date to the 3-inch mark. I'm just going to click the bottom border of the ruler, and notice it indicates a little L here, which is the left tab. So now I'm going to hit the tab key on my keyboard, and it's going to move the date to the indication of the left tab. So let's say this title here, I want to move it to the 2-inch left tab. I'm going to click the tab key on my keyboard, and notice that, let me go back because it was on center. Let me go back here, and I'm going to click the tab and notice that it moves to the 2-inch tab stop. So that's what these little tab indications are for, to be able to set tabs on here. If I want to set a right tab, I can just go over here and set a right tab, and then I can just go over here and set the tab that I want to set, and it'll indicate here that it's the right tab. So I'll go into more details on this on next week's learning unit. Another thing we have here is the indent command. So if I go over here to home, I go to page layout, I go to the paragraph group, here's my indent command. And the indent command indents all lines in the paragraph to the same point. So that means text can be indented from both the left and right sides. Remember that the tab key only indents the first line. So right now if I click at the beginning of this line and hit the tab key on my keyboard, it only moves the first line of the document. But if I go over here and select my paragraph, and I'm going to go to the left indent, I'm going to set it at 5. Notice that it moves the whole paragraph, not just the first line. I could also do it on the right margin, so I'm going to go to the right index, and I'm also going to move that to 5 inch, and this one should be 5 inches as well. So there's 5 inches indented from the left and 5 inches indented from the right. So these are some ways that I can indent my paragraphs. So I'm going to go and undo this so I can move it back to the 0, or I can just go over here and type 0 for the left and the right, press enter, and notice that it comes back to the normal indent. Another way that I can indent is I can move this little first line indent marker, or I can move the hanging indent or the left indent. So I'm going to use the left indent, which is this little box here. I'm going to move it over to 5 inch or half an inch. Notice it moved over. Notice on the left it's indicating as well. I'm going to move this one over as well to half an inch, and notice it indicates here and my paragraph's indented. So that's how you can use the indent spacing. So these are the commands that you're going to be using for this week's lesson. Remember, you're going to be using the margin. You go to the page layout. Here's your margin. There's the page setup group. You're also going to be using the orientation. It's under page layout, page setup group, orientation, portrait, and landscape. And you're also going to bring the rulers up to your screen. So you're going to do that by going to view. Make sure there's a little check mark here so you can view your horizontal ruler and your vertical ruler. And you're also going to be changing the indent for your documents. You go to page layout. You're going to be using the left and right indent. You're also going to be practicing by dragging the indent marker here on your ruler to indent left and right on your document. And that's what you're going to be using for this week. Remember, if you have any questions, send me an email or post on the question help forum so we can help you with any questions you might have.